Y'all, this is Kevin from Commonwealth Picker. We're in the eBay cave. I was doing a little bit of work today, and I thought this might be something that some of you would be interested in. The weather here in the wintertime isn't really that great. It's not good enough to get out and do too much yard sailing, so there's a few items I like to store up, and one of those things are cassette tapes and to some degree 8-tracks. And I also like to pick up DVDs when I can get them dirt cheap. So I want to talk about those things a little bit today. And tell me what you think in the comments. If you think it's too much work for not enough money, or if you think it's worth it to store these things away and pull them out in the dead of winter and lot them up and make some money off of them. So I've got some cassette tapes here, and let me tell you what I do with cassette tapes. First, I like to buy these cases if I can get them for a quarter, 50 cents at the most. These kind of generic ones, like this one said 30 cents on it for a cassette holder. I'm almost certain I didn't pay that. I probably lotted it together and paid very little. The Case Logic ones are padded. Like to pick these up when I can see them for a quarter, lot them together. I've got some more plastic ones over here. Here's a nice Case Logic one. There's a TDK Coast. There's some of these plastic ones here. And the big cases right here. And these things will sell on their own, but I use them for storage until I'm ready to sell. There's even some little ones, and I don't know where I have the little TDKs. I had some of those. Just the little cases. I'm not quite sure what I did with that one, but I must have left it out in the other room. So I like to buy these cases. And then when I come across cassettes, if they're priced like 50 cents a piece, I always stay away from them. But occasionally, you'll have a case like this sitting around, and I'll be like, how much you want for this? And they'll say 50 cents. And I'll pick it up if it's that price, provided that everything in the case is a decent cassette. And if it's not, if they have multiples, I'll ask them if I can, choose the cassettes. And sometimes they'll say yes. Hey, little girl, how you doing?
Good.
Hi. How you doing, Reagan? What's up? Good. What do you need, babe girl?
The ruler.
You need the ruler?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Make sure to subscribe.
Make sure to subscribe. All right. So, let me give you an idea of, if I paid 50 cents for this and I got the case, and I'm allowed to kind of pick and choose at a yard sale. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 cassettes and the holder. So we're looking at about 3 cents a piece, including this for these cassettes. And at that price point, you can make a little bit of money. And you'll notice some of these, this is the Beach Boys, this is the Judds, Billy Joel, James Taylor, Cocktail, which has some Beach Boys in it, Kokomo, Gloria Estefan, Lionel Richie, Martina McBride, Foreigner, another Billy Joel, Rod Stewart, Garth Brooks. Not amazing titles, but not bad. George Strait, Janet Jackson, Paula Abdul, the Beach Boys, Hank Williams Jr., Creedence, Willie Nelson, another Willie Nelson, Hank Williams Jr., Joe Diffie. I'm not going to open that one. Let's see, got another Beach Boys in there. Doobie Brothers, Elton John, Bob Marley. Some more reggae here. Some Shaggers, Kenny G. Debbie Gibson, Cocktail Again, George Michael, Chipmunks, hey, what do you know? Clay Walker. I don't know what that is. Tracy Lawrence, the Judds, Diamond Rio, Billy Ray Cyrus. Just to give you some of these titles here. Foreigner, Led Zeppelin, the Bee Gees, the Guess Who, Johnny Rivers, Neil Young, Glenn Miller, Chicago, Alan Jackson, more Debbie Gibson. So here's some good ones here. Guns N' Roses, Europe, Van Halen, UB40, Vanilla Ice, Poison, Rolling Stones, Voodoo Lounge. What else we got here? Got some Grateful Dead, Hall & Oates, Alabama, Neil Young, Alabama, Rolling Stones again in the back there. These are all full as well. I'm not going to look through all those. I'm just trying to give you an idea of the titles. Boxcar Willie, Garth Brooks, George Jones, Hank Williams. So what you'll notice in all these is that they're basically one of three genres. They're country music, both old and new. They are rock, 80s rock, 70s rock, 90s rock even. By the way, 90s rock sells independently. You get some of the very late, some of the early 90s, mid 90s, the last cassette tapes really that were made. You can make some pretty good money on the singles. Nirvana and the grunge stuff that you would see. You can make money on those, especially if they're new and sealed. And there are a few in here that are new and sealed. Let me give you an example. So this is the Beach Boys Christmas. All right, so you would do one of two things with this. First of all, it's sealed. I suppose you could sell it separately, but I don't like to do that. It's just not worth my time. You either put it in a Beach Boy lot, you get like 6 or 7 Beach Boys together, and you sell them for 15 bucks. And you've paid, very little, 50 cents into these. And you can make like $10, $12 on it. It's not too hard. I usually pay my daughter or something to lot them up, my son. So there's a couple of ways you could do it. Put it in a Beach Boy lot, or you can make a Christmas lot. Depends, how you want to do it. And then you put all the old country together, Hank Williams Jr., Willie Nelson, and put a bunch of old country together, and you can do that, or you can do it by artist if you have enough. Like I probably have every single Garth Brooks cassette in here. There's the double live. I have like 10 or 12. So I'd put it together and I'd make a Garth Brooks lot. And you can make pretty good money on those. But you gotta lot them together or it's not worth your time. So there's a few thoughts. It's not for everybody, no doubt. But let me talk about 8-tracks for a minute. And I just pulled out one that I bought lately. I think if you saw another video, I talked about pulling it out. These are not very good. I've actually pulled 4 or 5 out of here that were good. Already made about 80 bucks on those. They were Def Leppard and a couple other ones, but so I'm left with some pretty poor titles. Nothing special here, and so maybe you could lot these together in different, lots of 3 or 4 and make a little bit of money. I'm not even sure I can do that with what's left, but I do want to talk about something else you can look for. I probably will donate these. There used to be a guy at the flea market that would buy them off of me for 20 cents a piece, but that's probably not going to happen anymore. Haven't seen them out there in a while, but you never know. Let me show you something that you do want to look out for, besides the fact that you want to look out for the oldest stuff. Def Leppard on 8-track, some of those old some of the rock bands that were still making when they were still making 8-tracks when they came out, you can still sell that stuff pretty good. So I would definitely not just discard the 8-track case. I bought this whole case for $2, so I've made about 70, 80 bucks on just 3 titles. So I don't know what we'll do. I just haven't even looked these up. I don't know. Maybe if you keep them enough. That's a nice little Elvis one. I highly doubt it's worth any money at all, but maybe if you have 3 or 4 Elvis ones together, you put them together. I don't see any other Elvis in here, but I think I have some in the other one. Do the same idea. Lot things together. Just 3 Bing Crosbys in a row. So maybe you put that together and you could make a little bit of money if you want to spend your time doing that. Boy, look at that. Maybe I could use that manual and sell that manual. Who knows? The case needs a little cleaning, but the case will probably sell. Another thing you can do, I don't know where I put them. I thought I had some red ones. Are the bottom of these things sometimes. There you go. You take these little dust covers off of them like that, and probably most of these have a dust cover on the bottom of them, and you just lot these up, and if you get a lot of like 10 of those, you can easily sell them for $15. So that's another way to make money on your leftovers, even though you bought this whole lot for a certain price. Yeah, it does look like all these have dust covers. So I paid $2 for this whole thing. I've already made 70 or 80. There's probably, between the case and those red dust covers, there's probably another $20 to be made, maybe a little bit more on it. So I'm pretty happy with that. One thing I do want to tell you about is how to look for the quadraphonic ones. Now, all 8-tracks have this little cut at the top, and some people get confused, but right here, if there's a square or rectangle cutout on the left-hand corner, you're seeing a quadraphonic one, and those are usually a little bit more valuable. Something to look for. All right, let's see, what else can we tell you? I don't have any VHSs here today. I have a bunch, but we'll talk about VHS on another day. VHS is a hard sell unless you're selling horror movies, old horror movies that never got made into DVD, or at least not official DVDs. They maybe got bootlegged. And we'll talk about Disney and Black Diamonds and all that stuff. We'll talk about that on another video, and new sealed and all that. So I bought all these DVDs the other day. It's over 200 of them at a garage sale that was closing down. So whenever you see people boxing stuff up at a yard sale, don't be afraid to ask. So they had $1 a piece on these, then changed it to 50 cents. And then they had each box marked at $2, and they were boxing it up. And I said, hey, what are you going to do with this stuff? And I said, take it to the Goodwill. I said, how about I give you $5 and you let me take it all? And they said, sure, sold, no problem. And so there's some pretty good titles in here. You know, actually 3 of these I bought from a different yard sale, but 2 of them were in here. I think Alice and Finding Nemo were in this lot. And so, you know, that little lot right there is good for 15 to 20 bucks. So, and I paid $5 for all of this. All these Saw movies, some of them new sealed. All of those right there, looks like 2 are new sealed. We'll make some decent money on those. So you pull out the good ones, the really good ones, the ones you can actually sell. And I'm currently not doing Amazon with these. I probably will in the near future. So you pull those out. I got a couple season ones. Smallville right here, complete 3rd season. That's probably not worth much. NYPD, probably not worth much either. A couple of Hellboys. These are all Hellboys right here. Decent titles, nothing amazing. Kind of get an idea of what you're looking at. Now, it's not worth my time, nor is it worth my effort to really sell these off. So what I do is I hand pick these kind of things out of here that I can lot off and make some good money. I'll be, well, you know, I'll be in $20-30 profit just by selling this and this right here. And I'll take these. I have a guy at the flea market, so if you ever find a guy, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be DVDs. You find somebody whose specialty sells certain items, go talk to them, go ask them. And this guy will pay me 30 cents a piece for these titles. So normally I'd drop it off right after I go to a yard sale and get them, but he wasn't there this week, so we'll have to go back. But I'll take out the ones I want, and I might give him these. You know, who knows? I'll take out the ones I want, and I'll give him the rest of them. Should be just over 200, so it looks like about 60 bucks. 60 bucks is what we'll get out of this. And is it worth it? Yeah, I think so. Especially usually when you can make that $55 profit before you even get home from yard sale. And for me, it's right on the way. So anyway, there's just a little way to make a little extra. We talked about plating in sports the other day too. I don't know if I've aired that one or not yet, but you know, don't neglect those things. I'm not a big local flipper kind of guy. I don't particularly enjoy you know, offer up and Facebook Marketplace, because you got to keep up with people and respond, and it's just not worth the time and effort. But if you can make the quick buck turning it around and flipping it to somebody you know who can then go resell it, that's really the way to do it. So all right, thank you for joining us.